So welcome back to Inverness in the Spotlight. My name is Lace Bloom McLean, the current president of this Greater Inverness Old Town Association, and joining me in this segment is Doug LaBelle, our executive director. And if you were with us a few minutes ago, you'll see us, we've changed seats here. I now get
interviewer and the interviewee,
yes.
and yeah.
we wear many hats, don't we, in our organization. So what we want to talk about in this segment is an upcoming event that Inverness Old Town Association sponsors well, we try to do it every quarter, but definitely in the fall time, is Music on the Square. And Doug's going to give a little bit more background on that. It's September the 17th, and it's free. It's a Saturday night. From 6 to 10 p.m. So, Doug, can you tell our viewers a little bit more about it? And
yeah, Music on the Square, actually, the Inverness Old Town Association, our original name, came about in the early 90s, probably around 92. And it was a group of business people down on the square that wanted to do things, create events and things to bring more people downtown. And so Music on the Square was part of that. That was in the early days of it. And
great location to have music and have people come out, of course.
Well, you see, it's the old town, you know, hey, gather down at the square Friday night, Saturday night. So, you know, and they used to do Uncle Sam Jam and other things down there. But as the organization has grown from that original 16, 18 members down, and now having over 100+ members, Music on the Square has become a pretty elaborate production. And we try to do them quarterly, and we try to have them being thematic. The theme for this one, September 17th, happens to be around the Save Our Waters week that Citrus 2020 is involved with, where people are actually going out and doing coastal cleanup.
Correct. And that
it's on the same day.
Exactly. That morning, there's volunteers all around the county that are going up and cleaning up around a coastal area or water body, we like to say, because it can be a lake or a canal. And then that evening, they come out to Music on the Square, and there's some special gifts for folks that volunteer that morning.
Right, and we have some very interesting bands this time. We usually have some rock and different things like that, but this time we have jazz.
Oh, yes.
There's 2 hours of jazz, and that's the Southern Exposure Group, Norman Bernard and Southern Exposure. They pay 4 times a year in the historic courthouse. For the Historical Society, and they have a great following. You can only get about 160 people in there. It sells out every time.
Absolutely.
At $25 a ticket. Here they're going to be on stage from 6 to 8 for free.
Right,
so
to the public,
just bring your lawn chair, bring your blanket, come sit down and find one of the park benches and sit there and watch Southern Exposure. And they're great. And Kim Evans, their singer, is just phenomenal.
Oh, she is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And then when they're completed at 8 o'clock, we have the cool corporate cats.
Cool corporate cats.
Who are from around the area, but their leader is based out of, Bo Anderson is based out of Homosassa.
Okay.
And he has put this group together. I've listened to him a couple times. I caught them at the Habitat for Humanity event that they had about 6 months ago. And they're I mean, as far as blues goes, they're great. And they have a tremendous following. Whenever they're playing, there's 300 to 400 people that show up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're kind of expecting that we'll probably have 500, 600, 700 people out there on the square enjoying the music, and it'll run from 6 to 11. The restaurants will all be open. Some of the stores will be open. People can peruse in and out of there. And since this is coastal cleanup, since we're doing the nonprofit thing, because half of the profits from this are dedicated to go back to Citrus 2020
to help
support the effort
to
clean up our waters.
Again, giving back to the community.
Right. And so we said, well, we have about 15 spaces, 10 by 10 spaces we can allocate here. Let's invite other nonprofits to come in and to display, you know, what they do. And some of them will be selling some popcorn or lemonade or different things to raise some money for their charity. So
the theme for this Music on the Square was volunteers.
Right.
That's how it all kind of evolved into recognizing all the organizations in our community. And my gosh, we only have 15 spots. If we'd opened up, we'd have hundreds.
Yeah, there's a limitation on the amount of space that you have.
There's so many organizations out there that...
But the giving never stops in this community.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to me.
Absolutely.
Typically, we have sponsors, the restaurants and other businesses that sponsors our event, and that money is used to pay the band and put the production on, and it's pretty much a break even.
Right.
The bottom line this time is we have had an anonymous benefactor
Yes.
stepped forward.
We have been so blessed.
And has said, let me pay for the bands.
Correct.
And that way, the money that you get from your other sponsors is the money that you can use to split and with Citrus 2020.
So it all, again, goes right back into the community. Because Citrus 2020's major fundraiser is for scholarships. So there again, it goes right back in. And then Save Our Waters Week is the educational component to the community of how important our natural resources
and
are.
the anonymous donor, I had emailed, they had emailed and said, did you get my check? And so I responded back and said, yes, we got your check, and it looks like we'll probably clear X amount of dollars, and we'll be giving half of that to Citrus 2020, and it'll produce X dollars. And next day I got this email back saying, we're gonna write a check for another $300 and give it to Citrus 2020 directly as a nonprofit. Because of the great job that they're doing.
Absolutely.
So we have some wonderful, wonderful people.
And
in
it's
this
a
community.
ripple effect. It's a ripple effect. But not to take away from Inverness Old Town Association, Citrus 2020 has been around since the early 90s, and that's their primary focus is, giving back to the community in some form or fashion as well. So.
Well, I remember those early visioning sessions
that
we had to figure out what was the community going to look like in 2020.
In the year 2020.
And how do we get there? And that's still going on. There's a check and balance thing that takes place.
Exactly, and that's what's so fabulous about the city of Inverness too, is that they have that visioning. They have that vision and that the ability to look at what we're dealing with now, but how can we prepare for the future? And so our Inverness merchants, to be part of that whole visioning process, it is only going to help with the business and the economy if we can hang in there long enough.
The interesting thing that I find is that with the economy being as difficult as it is right now, that I know of, besides your business just opening, 4 other businesses that are in process of opening in Inverness.
Exactly.
And they're opening there because it's kind of the center of what's going on and the activity. And Mayor Bob Plaisted and Frank DiGiovanni, the city manager, and the city council have taken a view of how to make it better. They've gotten a lot of grants. You look what they've done to Cooter Pond. You look what they've done with the streets and the street lights. And Dampier Street or Thompson Street is now being extended and 4-lane to through.
Well, let's bring it back around to Music on the Square on the 17th of September. If they want any more information, who should they call or contact?
They can call IOTA, Inverness Old Town Association, at 726-4682.
Great. We hope to see you all on September the 17th out underneath the stars listening to some great music. Hope you get out there on the morning and do some volunteer work with Save Our Waters as well. So thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next week on Inverness in the Spotlight.